Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Friday, the 23rd of January, comes to you from Sydney in Australia. My last Friday here. Next week, I'm in Singapore with clients, and then back in the UK the following week, and then Germany for eWorld, the energy conference, the week after that. So a busy time, and it's been a very busy week for markets. The dollar index, we start with, we've got this long-term downside target. Remember, we're advocating this move sideways, the next move likely to be after a consolidation period lower again. If we look at the 60-minute chart, we've got a new downside target there on the dollar index, just given an activated just at the end of yesterday, and so that is bearish. We are below the cloud, which just means another bad week for the dollar ahead based on this chart. So quite key there. And if we look at some of the other currencies, we've got the yen, that is that's actually deteriorating against the dollar and really nudging multiple year lows there. So if we look at the weekly chart, we can see here that we've got this previous 2024 level. So the yen is weak, and that is really surrounding that bonds issue, which we'll look at shortly when we get to bonds. But really interesting that that is actually performing worse than the dollar. The dollar is buying more yen basically, so that's even worse. Sterling, if we look at that against the US currency, we see sterling is actually back above the cloud. We've got a longer upturn target there. We're in the mid 130s. And that's quite key as well. The Aussie dollar, that has been performing very strongly indeed. We've got moved to new highs there against the US dollar and a big upside target. So that's really quite key. We have been in a relatively slow downtrend on the Australian dollar against the US dollar, but we're now seeing how that is actually changing, and we can draw the trend line there, and we can see that trend is changing in the dollar. So that's really quite key for the Aussie dollar. And so we're looking at Bitcoin. It was nudging this level. We have had a bad week for Bitcoin. Again, if we make this new downside target, that's not good news. We do have an upside target, but we're discounting that on the medium-term chart because we are below the cloud. And if we look at the 60-minute chart, this is, again, equally complex. We've fallen to those downside targets, and now we're waiting to see if we activate this upside target. So it will be a very interesting week ahead for Bitcoin as well, so quite key. I mentioned the bond markets. We're seeing Japan still higher. It's up 1%. It is fallen away from that 235 peak, but the long dated in the Japanese bond market is still a big concern. So that's an area for lots of concern. UK, we have mentioned the gilt market in the UK has been making 12-month lows. It was good news for the government. The borrowing costs lower in the UK, but that's on a weaker economy as well. Looking at the stocks, we are seeing the S&P 500 still not quite making a new high, but has activated an upside target. The NASDAQ still yet to activate its upside target. We are seeing the futures up slightly today, so it does suggest a little bit better end to the week, and we're seeing the same for European futures. And in Asia, we've seen quite a strong performance on stocks here, all heading towards the target. That's Tokyo, Hong Kong, all having upside targets at the moment, and that's the Hang Seng. And if we look at China, that's the Chinese market also pushing to new highs. India, not so strong. That's going to be quite key. And we can see here just falling away. And the Aussie market, where I am right now, no clear targets, but again, just starting to get back above the clouds. So that's potentially good. We did see a recovery in the Mag 7, but they are still looking pretty benign. And again, we have said that we see weakness in the Mag 7 over the coming months, and we're seeing that below the cloud. Even though we had a big move on Facebook there, we are seeing that move below the cloud, so that's quite key. Google is still the star performer. This is the one that we've said has the best upside potential. It's been making new highs, and is the best performer so far this year, and a new upside target yet to be activated. 2 buying thrusts leading to a target area, both in time and price. So that's really, really valuable. Remember, you can do any of these charts on your TradingView system as well. I've got TradingView running here. There's my chart on silver. Look at all those targets on silver all the way up. And you can literally look at any stock you want in your TradingView and have the targets there as well. So the choice is yours. Brent crude is up and looking a little bit better on that medium term. Again, waiting to see if we can activate an upside target. It's been a really turbulent time for energy this week and last. We've seen US nat gas rocket from around 350 to 550, $2, just a huge move there. Big cold snap coming in the US, and that's what's driven that. If you're trading these, I'll be putting out my morning call in about an hour. It's just coming up to 6. It's just 6:30 in the UK at the moment. At 8 o'clock, I normally put that call out. So we'll be analysing that for today and calling it. And if we look at TTF, this is Dutch gas, has had a similarly really big volatile leak. We are in a new uptrend, no question on that, but it's all about these 60-minute targets, and that's going to be quite key. And again, we do that in the report with the 1-minute targets, calling it for today. A look at metals, all looking quite strong there. Aluminium holding those gains, looking like it's heading back for another high. Zinc up 1.3%, so that's quite strong. Lithium, my call in January, is up 80% so far this year, 85% in fact, so that's really significant there. And if we look at copper, that's been a strong performer in line with silver and gold. So again, pushing all the way up to those price targets. So quite key there. Taking a look at gold, that's sitting at up to new highs, just nudging the 5,000 mark. Goldman Sachs have upgraded their target to $6,000 on the monthly chart. There is a target to $6,000. Maybe they're looking at the targets. Who knows? And we see here that a lot of people are having to reevaluate what levels we're going to. Silver, 103.90 was the target given at 81. We're now sitting at 99 as we speak, just nudging 99. So that's going there. Platinum has activated a new upside target, so that's quite key. When we look at the chart, you can see here an ascending triangle breakout, very powerful. Previous targets met. We've got a target there much higher on platinum. And if we look at some of the other soft commodities, let's just take a look at sugar. Been working with a team of sugar traders in Australia. They're still below the cloud, even though we had a little bit of a better day. And again, the 60-minute chart will give you a read on what's happening there. So just looking a little bit stronger on the very short term. Cocoa, this has been really a big fall from grace, still in a downtrend there with further downside targets. So really hard to be bullish there, making new lows on cocoa. If we look at coffee, we see a different picture here where a big upside target, but we are below the cloud, so we're discounting that at the moment. These little mini ones met. And if we look at wheat, again, I'm working with a big grain trading company last year, so that's quite key as well. And if we look at, last of all, corn, we can see here upside targets, but falling away below the cloud, so we discount those as well. So the key thing today is watch those US markets. As I've mentioned, we're already seeing the S&P future up about 0.2%. Maybe we're just going to see a strong end to the week. I'll be putting out my morning call to energy clients in about an hour's time. Until Monday, Australia Day, I will still be online doing charts today. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.